Hello and welcome to another DeskThing tutorial. Today we're going to be going over Terbium tools and how to get that set up with DeskThing. The first half of this video is going to be showing you how to do that on Windows, and the latter half is going to show you how to do it on macOS, which should carry over to Linux. So, to get things started, for the Windows installer, you're going to need to have three different tabs. That's going to be the Thingify tools, Zadig, and Terbium. If you are not on Windows, I recommend skipping to the second half of this video. So, for starters, you want to go to Thingify tools, and then go to ThingLabs. Thingify tools is where we hold all of our different binaries and packages, and that will be a central place for you to get the files that you need. So you want to go to ThingLabs, and then Versions, click the latest, and then click Download. Make sure that you save this file somewhere that you can remember. So we're going to click Save As, and then I'm going to save it in this folder right here, Terbium Tools, but you can save it wherever you really want. Okay, then you want to go to Zadig, and you want to go to Zadig, whatever the latest one is. For me right now, it is 2.9. So we can click that, and then we're just going to save this in the same spot so we can keep track of things. Just like so. And while we wait for those to load, we can now get started configuring our car thing. So we can see over here that we are currently running the stock Spotify car thing operating system, and we want to change this out with what we're currently loading. So we need to get this into burn mode, which means holding buttons 1 and buttons 4. When we hold both of those, we want to unplug and plug it in, just like so. And we know that this worked because the screen remained off. We want to give it a second, and then we can let go of those buttons, and you can see that the screen is currently not turning on while plugged in. A few important things to note about this process is that I'm currently using a powered USB hub, which essentially means that it is plugged into both my computer, right there, and then also the wall, right here. This is just going to a wall outlet that's just giving it extra power to make it more consistent. It's not necessarily needed, but when you're on an AMD system, it has definitely been proven to show that this makes it far more reliable down the road. So, with our car thing now in burn mode, we can get back to the computer and finish this process. Back on the computer, we can see that even though ThingLabs is still downloading, we do have Zadig, which is finished. A few things that we want to do, and we can do this while waiting for the other file to finish downloading. So we can click this to open it, and then we can make sure Zadig opens up correctly. If you lose the download here, you can always just go to the file location that you had downloaded from before and just double click the executable. So we are right here, and we want to click Options, List All Devices, and then drop this down and click GX chip. Before doing anything, we just want to verify that our device is being detected correctly, and that can be done by going to Device Manager. You can get here just by searching Device Manager, just like so, and opening up the first thing that shows up. There we go. So we have our device, and we can see that we're currently running the libUSB Win32 device with the World Cup driver. This is actually not what we want. We want to have a default WinUSB driver. So before we do anything on Zadig, we want to right-click this device, click Properties, and then wait for the dialog to open up, click Driver, and then click Uninstall Device. After doing this, it will prompt us, and we can say that we want to attempt to remove the driver and then uninstall. Give it just a moment, and then it should restart. Now we want to go back to our physical device, remember holding buttons 1 and 4, unplug, and plug it back in. Once we do, Device Manager should refresh, and then that will let us see all the devices again refreshed. So if we scroll all the way to the bottom, we can see the Universal Serial Bus device, and we can see GX chip underneath that. That means that we are currently running the base driver for the device, and that is exactly where we want to be. So coming back to Zadig, we want to select our device again, and then click Reinstall Driver. Make sure you have the WinUSB driver selected right here, and then we can start this process. And just like that, our driver has successfully been installed, and we can close and then close out of Zadig. Just to be absolutely sure, we want to action and scan for hardware changes. Give it just a moment, and it should refresh all the devices. And there we go, we still have this listed as the GX chip, but with the correct driver this time. So we can minimize it out right here, and now it's just a waiting game as we wait for Thingify Tools to finish installing. Alright, Thingify Tools is now finished installing, and we can just go and click Open File in order to get that up in our file system. Here, we'll just do that. And we should see this .zip file. We want to right click that, and then click Extract All. Alternatively, you can click the Extract All button up here, or Show More Options, Extract All. I prefer doing it this way, so this is the way that we're going to do it. Then you just want to hit Enter in order to confirm, and you should see it begin to extract all of the files inside. We can give this just a moment to finish. And just like that, we now have all of our files extracted. So if we open up this folder, we can see all of the different files inside, like all of these .dump files right here. Okay, so we can now close this window and go back to Google. So here's the big moment. We want to click Done, just like so, and then it will be prompted up at the top. Select the GX chip, then click Connect, and we'll give it just a moment. Okay, this big warning sign means that it did in fact work. We just need to click Connect once again, and then click the unknown device. And, just like so, we have our device connected. So, we want to click Restore Local Folder, and then click Select Folder. That should bring up a prompt, and from here you can go to Terbium Tools, just like so, which is where I installed everything, and then go to the 8.9.2 Thing Labs. This is what you extracted before, just not even 5 minutes ago. We want to select folder, and then click Open once we're prompted. Okay, once you click Open, you should see all of the folders that are in there, like all of the dump files, and they should all be listed. If they're not listed, then I'd recommend going back, making sure you extracted everything, and making sure you got this set up correctly. Alright, you want to click Select, and it should be on its way. While it is flashing, you can open up your DevTools by doing Ctrl-Shift-I or hitting F12, and you'll see in the logs all of the things that it's doing in the background in order to flash. If there's an error, we'll probably need some of these logs in order to figure out what happened. So, let's take this opportunity while it's flashing to explain a few things that could go wrong. The first thing is it says bulk mode failed. If it says something along the lines of bulk mode failed, then that's usually a cable issue. Make sure that you are using a cable that's not from the car thing, like not from the box, and then also potentially using a USB hub. A powered USB hub, like what I'm using, helps tremendously with power stability and flashing consistency. Ever since using it, I've had zero issue, and that's been the general consensus from like everyone else who's had issues, is getting a powered USB hub. If you want to try something else, especially if you're on AMD, try plugging into your motherboard directly. And some USB ports have like the blue on the inside. That means that that's a USB 3.1 port. You don't want to use that one. You want to use the black USB ports. If you know which one's USB 2.0 though, that's great. The reason why is there's a funky AMD bug that ends up cycling the port's power, and that causes the car thing to crash and for the flashing to fail. So, with all that being said, we're just going to wait a second, and as soon as this finishes flashing, we can be on our way. Just like that, our car thing has finished being flashed. All we have to do from here is unplug and plug it back in just like normal, and we just have to wait for it to boot up. It should say the Thing Labs logo, and then eventually go to the Spotify setup screen. If you got to this point, then all you have to do is follow my next tutorial on setting up Desk Thing. This also lays the groundwork for setting up any other different system that you want on there. But that is all for the Windows tutorial. If you want to help support the channel, you absolutely can by subscribing or using my coffee link in order to get me a couple cups of coffee. It really goes a long way. And that'll be all. So let's switch over to macOS. Hello! So, if you got to this point in the video, you are probably on macOS and or Linux. So, let's go over what to do for this type of flashing. It should be very similar. All you have to do is go to Thingify Tools, go to ThingLabs, go to Versions, click the right arrow, and then get over to this Downloads page. From here, you can click Download, and it should begin the download process. I'm just going to save this randomly in my Downloads folder, just like so. As soon as that finishes, you can then open it up and then extract the zip file. But before we do that, we want to get our car thing into burn mode. So in order to do that, I have my car thing right here. I have it connected to this USB hub, and the USB hub is plugged into my Mac just like so. The USB hub is also powered by an external source, like with that cable right there. So in order to get this into burn mode, we want to hit buttons 1 and 4, just like so, and then unplug and plug in the device. Once we plug it back in, the device should remain off, but I'm just going to give it a second and now let go. So there we are, the device is currently in burn mode, and we know that because the device is not turning on right now. So we can go back to the desktop and wait for our download to finish. Okay, and just like that, it is now finished installing, and we can see the file right here, thinglabs.zip. We want to have this, and we can open it up, and we can see everything in here. If it does not automatically unzip, then we want to right click and click archive utility, and we can see it unzip just like so. So we have this right here, so all we have to do is go back and go to the Terbium link that is in the description and click done. After doing that, we can see GXShip show up here, and we can click connect, and it should take just a moment to boot into burn mode. And now we can see this that says just a warning sign and then connect. By clicking connect, we can then click this device up here, which is the car thing in burn mode, and then we can click connect once again, and you can see it successfully worked. So we're going to click restore from local file, and then click downloads and click the file where we extracted it to. So this is the one that I showed you manually doing it, and then this is the one that it did automatically. We can click select and then view files, and voila, look at that. All of our files are right here. We can then finally hit select one more time, and just like so, the burn mode has begun. And just like that, we have now finished installing our update. So we can just click next, and then we can see that it has finished. Enjoy your car thing. All we have to do from here is go back over to our physical device. All we have to do from here is go back to our physical device and go ahead and unplug and plug it back in. Alright, if we just give this a moment, it should boot into the ThingLabs logo. If it does not, then something is probably wrong, and the best thing to do if this is not booting correctly is to either try running Terbium again, or join our Discord and open up a support thread explaining that you followed the tutorial and it is not currently booting. We can then further diagnose it from there. Alright, that is going to be everything for the Mac tutorial. If you want to set up Desk Thing, stay tuned because there will be a dedicated Mac tutorial for setting up the Desk Thing coming here soon. Until then, be sure to subscribe, and if you want to support this effort, you can go to my Buy Me a Coffee link in the description and help support the car thing hacking initiative. I'm just a solo developer who's been working on Desk Thing, but Terbium and all the associated tools have been developed by the ThingLabs team, which I'm currently a part of and has been a pleasure to work with. So if you want to support this effort, you can do so there. That's been everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Thank you!